Holy shit, we're at year's end. We made it! 2016 is coming to an end, folks. At some points, it felt like 2016 had some teeth. And at the end of every year, I pick my top 10 favorite movies of that year and I do a video for you guys. Hence, this is my top 10 favorite movies of 2016. Couple things to note. One, these are not reviews of the movies. I have my reviews. I'll actually have annotations over here over the posters for those of you who want to be like, I want to see more about what he said about that. Click. You can do that. And two, these are just my personal opinions. These are not the technically perfect movies of 2016. For those of you who have come here for validation on your top 10 favorite films of 2016, or you've come to hear me gush about the Oscar bait movies of 2016, you're going to be very disappointed. It's just my personal list of the movies I thought were pretty swell. That's not to say there were only 10 great films this year. When I was making my list, there were a surprisingly large amount of movies that I was like, hey, I really like that. But I have to whittle it down to 10, so now I got 10. And important to know, this year, as every year, I haven't seen all the movies that have come out in 2016. The movie I really wanted to catch before I did this list, which I wouldn't catch, is Silence, Martin Scorsese's new movie. I don't know if it would make this list. There are people out there who are like, well, just wait until you watch all the movies. That is impossible. I haven't seen all the movies that I wanted to see before I did my top 10 best list of 2012. At that point, you're telling me wait 5 years before I do this list for this year. Not gonna happen. But might as well just get this going. And as these top 10 lists can drag on, I don't want to drag it on, so let's get right into it. These are my top 10 favorite movies of 2016.
Number 10.
Starting off this list is Moana. I figured I'd like Moana. I didn't know I'd love Moana. I didn't know I'd love Moana as much as I loved Moana, but Moana totally worked for me. It was a cool adventure. I loved The Rock. I loved the music. I loved the voice acting. I loved the way they executed it. Moana worked. It was a great adventure for kids and adults.
Number 9.
Coming in at number 9, we have The Edge of 17. This was a surprise if ever there was one. There are a few surprises on this list, but Edge of 17, I didn't know you could make a John Hughes-esque movie in 2016. If John Hughes was still alive, still making movies in 2016, I'm very sure this was what he would make. It was a sweet movie. It had heart, it had guts, it had a really cool teacher. I had a couple teachers like Woody Harrelson in this film. They're out there. I love them. And this movie gave me the feels. It was a great time. Took you right back to your high school years, for better, for worse.
Number 8.
Next up, we have the next animation, which was in direct competition for Moana. For my heart, that's Kubo and the Two Strings. Kubo and the Two Strings was the Legend of Zelda movie we haven't gotten, nor will we probably ever get. It was beautiful in its style, aesthetic, execution. I love the characters, I love the craft, I love the lore. Did I say it was Legend of Zelda yet? Yeah, I'm gonna say it again, because it totally was. Really good looking one at that.
Number 7.
Next, we have Patriots Day. Funny thing about Patriots Day was the last movie I watched and reviewed before I started doing this list. So, given time to marinate, I don't know if it would get higher on the list. It might, who knows? All I know is Patriots Day solidified the fact that Peter Berg has found himself something. He's found a path. Stick to that path, he could be great. It was raw in its execution, yes, but it also hit to the point the fact that people do come together in a time of crisis. And that's a beautiful thing about humanity, and that's something this movie does celebrate. This movie hit me where I live, and it really does show that you don't have to wait decades before doing a movie about a tragic event. It helps hit the point home, and this movie does hit its point home.
Number 6.
You knew it would be on this list because I'm a fan of it. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, or Star Wars Rogue One for people who want to call it that. It does sound better. Now, I enjoyed Rogue One when I saw it. That's no secret. But given time to marinate, I didn't expect Rogue One to do what it did. And that is sew up the loose ends and give gravity to the events of the original Star Wars movie, Star Wars A New Hope. If you watch Rogue One and then go right into A New Hope, when that Death Star blows up, you really feel like it's 2 movies worth of events leading up to that. And as a companion piece alone, it wouldn't make my list, but the fact that the movie itself was actually entertaining and had great moments, and one of my favorite Star Wars moments, you know the scene I'm talking about. Rogue One just had to make the list, so it did.
Number 5.
Next up, we have the Valentine's Day movie of Valentine's Day movies. That's right, that's Deadpool. After this movie took 10 years, so any movie that takes this long to make, it's not usually a good sign. In fact, the movie might actually suck, but when we saw the campaign leading up to it, we were like, wait, that's a really good meta campaign they're doing. Maybe they found Deadpool. Maybe they're doing it right. Holy shit, they totally did it right. And I'm telling you, Deadpool has changed the game. No longer do studios feel they have to steer away from the R-rated comic book movies. We've had them before, but they didn't do what Deadpool did. Really, Deadpool is a testament to just stick to the source material, stick to the character, do both of them justice. It doesn't matter what the rating is, the fans will respond. And also, the movie was fucking awesome.
Number 4.
Next up, we have Peter Berg's other film that came out in 2016, Deepwater Horizon. Kind of felt weird putting two Peter Berg movies on here. The dude directed two films on my top 10 list. But yeah, I overlooked my list 100 times. This film deserves to be on here. And the fact that Deepwater Horizon and Patriots Day are so different in execution, I'm fine with it. What Deepwater Horizon does is shows you the scope and magnitude of the event that happened in that oil. It wasn't just an oil spill. It wasn't just a fire. This is one of the best disaster movies I have seen on the big screen. It executed it well. It sounded great. It looked great. I was in awe of it. And then you stop, you realize, holy shit, that really happened. Then you get more interested. You start Googling things because you're like, folks need to be accountable for that shit. It was a relevant piece of film in 2016. I really believe that. Loved this one.
Number 3.
All right, we're at the top 3 now, and generally I like to think my top 10 films do kick ass. They do in my mind's eye anyway. But the top 3, man, these are the ones that really hit me. And starting out the top 3, at number 3, that is Mel Gibson's return, Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge showed me that Mel Gibson is a great director. I haven't seen this dude do anything for a decade. Maybe he's burned out, maybe he's washed up, maybe he's faded into obscurity because of the shit he said. Controversy aside, the dude knows how to direct. This is a very heartfelt movie for the first half of it, of someone just standing his ground going, no, I'm not picking up a gun because I don't believe in it. Then he gets to the battlefield and it turns into a holy fucking shit slaughterhouse. And this dude is going to save people's lives. It really is a testament to the human spirit. Great performance from Andrew Garfield. Great directing from Mel Gibson. I genuinely look forward to seeing what Mel Gibson does next.
Number 2.
Well, you haven't seen it on my list yet, and here it is, the one you knew would be on my list, Captain America Civil War. Captain America Civil War was not only a great throwdown among the superheroes, it was building up, we knew it would happen. That airport throwdown is arguably the greatest superhero throwdown I've ever seen on the big screen. No, not arguably, it just is. Making awesome superhero greatness and actions, yeah, that's great to see, but like Captain America Winter Soldier before it, Civil War was also a great movie of conflict among the characters we have grown to love. That's the thing that Marvel has built. It's what they've done. It's what they're executing really well. Now the characters are established. We've known them since 2009 when Iron Man 1 came out. And now there is logically conflict among the ranks of the Avengers, and it all came to a head in this one. Pick a side? I don't want to pick a side. I feel like I have to pick a side. Oh my God. And like I said in my review, if you do not flip-flop from Team Cap to Team Iron Man back and forth, vice versa, at least once in this film, you're just blindly following, because this film does make compelling arguments for both sides. And that's tough to do, but it's important to do, and Civil War did it.
Number 1.
What's it gonna be, folks? What's it gonna be? My number 1, Star Wars is already on here. Captain America Civil War is already on here. You guys have no idea right now, do you? And I'm gonna let you know. It's Arrival. Arrival made me nervous going into it because people were like, oh my God, Arrival's so amazing. And usually when I have critics and people telling me Arrival is so amazing, I have to go see it, it usually means I'm going to watch it, I'm going to like it, I'm not going to like it as much as the internet tells me I should like it. And then the internet gets all pissed in the comment sections about it. The point is I was nervous going into this. And I walked out loving it. This was a great movie. It's a movie about how language is so important to our development and how we interact, not only culturally, but as a species as a whole. There are layers to this movie, and to that point that I'm not going to ruin for you. On the off chance you haven't seen Arrival, you should see Arrival. I feel like Amy Adams should be nominated for an Oscar. This movie itself should be. I might be a little biased at it being my number 1. This is not an alien invasion movie. Know that right now. This is a thinking person's movie. You go in there, you sit down, you get information, and the human race is put under a social microscope. Sounds really cliche, but in its execution, it's not. A great movie and an important movie, and it's a movie you should certainly see. And it is my number 1, my favorite film of 2016. All right, guys, so that's my list. Those are the 10 movies this year that made me go, yeah, they need to be on the most important list on the internet. Not at all, but you know. And I know my list is different than your list is different than my list. Our lists are not the same, nor should they be. That's the great thing about cinema. It's a great thing about film. So your top 10 favorite films of 2016, what are they? Whatever they are, comment below, let me know. Make that list down below. Let's start that conversation, but let's keep it civil. And yes, the top 10 worst of 2016, per my opinion. That video's coming next. Oh yeah, there were some. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.